The Skyline Valley update is available now for Fallout 76, and I'm going to talk about it. Before I do talk about it though, obvious spoiler disclaimer. While I'm not going to be talking super in-depth about the main quest, and I will avoid putting any late quest footage in, I have played it, I'm going to be showing off some early footage, some footage of the area, I'm going to be talking about the update, just basic stuff you'd expect, so if you want no spoilers whatsoever, don't click on a Fallout video right now, play it first. That out of the way, let's get on to if it's worth returning to Fallout 76 for the update. And let's get the very easy one out of the way first. If you didn't like 76, if you've never really enjoyed it and it's not been your thing, then no, it's not worth coming and trying the game again just for this update. The update adds in more stuff that is the same, it's not like some big game-changing update which makes it different than it's ever been before. If you didn't like 76 before, I highly doubt this update would change your opinion. However, if you love 76, if you've been having a great time with it, if you've still been playing, if there's literally nothing negative you have about it, then yeah, obviously this update's going to be good for you. It's more content. Those are the two kind of extremes. For the rest of the people out there who are somewhat in the middle, I'm going to go over the details and let you make up your own mind. So the main thing that this update adds is a big-ish new region of the map. I'd say big-ish. It's located at the very south. One thing I am quite happy about is that they've kept the map pretty much as it is. They've just used some of the southern area that they already had on the map and was just blocked off. So this is at the very south, and it seems to be the smallest new region, or the smallest region out of the ones we've had so far. I'd say it's slightly smaller than the Ash Heap, which I think was the smallest we had previously, but not tiny compared to the Ash Heap. It's smaller, but still a reasonable size. I feel obligated to mention as well that apart from the sky, which looks really cool and which I do love, and yeah, the sky is amazing, definitely the visual focus point, but other than that and a couple of locations, a lot of the areas feel very similar. They just kind of made a mashup of other regions and locations. There's a lot of watchtower places which we've seen before and they've just been put in to the area, a lot of familiar forts and buildings, and a lot of it looks the same. The environment as well, most of it is just kind of a mashup of the different regions we've already had. Some areas just look like the Mire mixed with the Cranberry Bog mixed with the forest, and they just kind of mixed it together, which I think is kind of a shame. It's not a big negative or anything, but something that 76 did amazingly, especially on release, was have all of these regions which felt super distinct, and I feel that this region doesn't feel as distinct as the others. It's a bit of a blend of them. It's definitely not a thing to be like, oh, I won't play it because of this, but it's a slight missed opportunity. And we're going to get into that more, because there's a new quest line, and I think this is the main reason most people would actually go and play it. Now, I only played for a few hours, which was just enough time for me to get through the entire quest line. I should point out though, I play very fast, I sprint everywhere, you might be able to tell from the speed that I'm talking, but I just like things being fast. Zoom, 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 zoom. That's my attitude. So I got it through it within a few hours, but if you take your time, I'd say this could be a 5-6 hour questline potentially. Not bad overall, that's a decent amount of time. And overall the questline is mostly good. I definitely enjoyed playing it, I am glad that I have played it. However, there were several opportunities as I was going through the questline where I was like, it'd be really cool if this happened, or it'd be really cool if I had this choice, or it'd be really cool if I could make a decision at this point to change things, and it didn't happen. I felt like there were a lot of missed opportunities within this quest, but it was still good, and definitely worth playing through, even if it wasn't as good as it could have been. I'd say definitely not as good as any of the Brotherhood stuff we got, or the Wastelanders questline. Both of those were really well done, and I don't think anyone should go into this update expecting something quite as good as that, but it's definitely not the worst of stuff. It's better than the initial 76 main storyline was, I'd say. There's some very good voice acting. I will give it that. The voice acting and the characters are portrayed very well. It's worth playing through. For the vast majority of people, if you've enjoyed some of the added quest lines to 76, this is a good addition, but it's not the best of them. There's also been a new public event added, and my opinion on this is meh. I only got to play it once, and maybe I'm missing out on stuff, and there were a lot of people there, so it was incredibly easy, but it really doesn't feel like it's anything special. It's basically a defend a region and kill and locate some stuff in that small area. It's once again something we've seen before, just with a different coat of paint. It does include the new enemy types, which I can move straight onto. That's how quickly I talked about the public event. There's nothing interesting about it to really say. I'm sure there'll be some unique rewards from it. It's people who are hunting clans and all of that stuff. Play the public event, definitely. It's just not going to be that different from stuff we've had before. The new enemy types, though, the main one is the Lost. These are going to be showcased everywhere. You will be seeing them non-stop. They are the main inhabitants of Skyline Valley. And they are kind of cool. They're basically electric ghouls. They're ghouls that are imbued with lightning, but honestly, they're kind of just scorched mixed with ghouls in how they behave and act. And it's also worth noting that I don't think I saw a single normal scorched or normal ghoul in this area, like the normal enemy types of ghouls or normal enemy types of scorched. It seems the Lost just kind of take their role instead, which means they're not really adding anything new, they're just a slightly different replacement. Not a terrible thing, and they've got stuff to do with the story, so it's worth having them, but I felt that the Lost were just more of the same again. A lot of this is more of the same, if you haven't got the tone. However, something which was different were Thrashers, which are a fun, turkey enemy? I think they're just mutated turkeys. I'm not great with birds, but they look like turkeys to me. Hopefully I'll have some footage on screen of them, either now or at some point, and you can see that, yeah, there's, these big mutant turkey things. I feel like they're a bit underused or underexplained. I haven't come across anything talking about them from what I can tell. I'm not sure if they were just a late addition where someone was like, oh, I've got a spare day, let's just make mutant turkeys. But they're a fun enemy to run across. I do like the Thrashers. There's a couple of other very minor new enemies as well, but honestly not worth talking about. New enemy types, yeah, nothing too great besides the Thrashers, which I kind of love. Apparently there is also a new region boss, but I didn't see it. I can't really comment on the new region boss, because I didn't see it, I don't know how it's activated, or what occurs from it. I'm pretty certain I didn't fight at any point, I feel like I'd have noticed. But yeah, apparently there's a new region boss. I have no idea about it. Now, in terms of stability, bugs, issues, and all of that stuff, I did run across a few different bugs and issues while playing, and the one which happened most often were that objects I was interacting with caused a bit of a delay. It's even causing me to speak badly now, apparently, but I'd interact with an object, it wouldn't interact, and then when it did interact, I'd be stuck interacting with that object, like picking up a note. I'd pick up the note and be like, cool, let's store that away. Okay, let's back out of it. No, it just wouldn't let me store it away or back out of it. At one point I was even interacting with a quest object and I couldn't back out, and I was being shot at and attacked while that was happening. So that's a bit annoying, and it happened a lot, honestly. Basically, half the times I had to interact with something for a quest, I'd get locked in with it, just for 10-15 seconds or so normally, but it was annoying, and I hope they fix that, because while not game-breaking, definitely wasn't fun to do. The one almost game-breaking bug I had was on the very final quest. Pretty much the last part of the final quest, I just had a bug which almost broke everything. I can't go into too much detail without spoilers, but I literally just ran around the final area for about 5-10 minutes, and eventually it fixed itself. I'm very glad it did fix itself, or otherwise I probably wouldn't be recommending this update overall, but it did, so there's definitely some teething problems with this. Nothing absolutely game-breaking that I found, but hopefully there'll be a hotfix soon. I also almost said that this was a DLC, and yeah, I want to talk about that a bit. This feels pseudo-DLC-ish at points, especially with it being a new location you're going to. It feels a bit separate from the main game itself. It's got this one specific questline you go through. It doesn't feel like a part of the map in the same way, integrated in the same way as the rest of the map does. I was getting almost Point Lookout vibes, was the main thing I could say. It was making me feel like I did when I played Fallout 3 and played Point Lookout. It's got an almost DLC feeling, but it's a free update. And I was at point disappointed because of this DLC feeling, because it's not as big or as fancy as a full DLC. But that's just my own kind of feelings towards it. I will say that if you are someone who really was just looking for any excuse to jump back into 76, then this is it. It's a good update overall. If you wanted to play but didn't quite have the motivation to go back to the game, this'll do it. Go back to the game, play through this, have a good time, I would recommend. What I will say is that I'm playing this on PC, on Steam, and the game there is now over 100 gigabytes. It's over 100 gigs. So that is definitely a factor to consider if you're reinstalling. I talked about this in my Is Starfield Worth Returning To video. Did I talk about it in there? I think I talked about it in my Starfield video as well, where essentially the bigger a file size of a game, the more it needs to incentivize me to keep it installed and keep playing it. Because sure, something like the original Fallout, which is a gig or something crazy small like that, I'm happy to have that installed even if I almost never play it. That's fine. But when we're getting into the triple digits, I need to be playing that game a lot, or else I'm just going to get rid of it so I can free up some space. So do keep in mind that Fallout 76 is a big mama honker of a game now. That's worth considering. Like I've said quite a bit throughout this as well, this update just adds more of the same. It's good if you wanted more of that, but bad if you'd kind of got burnt out on 76. If you've got burnt out on the mechanics of 76, the scoreboard, all of just the same old sort of stuff, I don't think this update's really going to change your opinion. It's going to be a brief distraction, but it's not great enough or doesn't really alter things enough to keep you playing for that much longer. It's worth going through, but not worth sticking with 76 if you're already on the edge. Personally, I will be jumping back into the game for a little bit. I want to uncover the 3 or 4 locations I think it is that I didn't uncover, and one thing I do want to do 100% is take some photos. I'll be putting up some Patreon wallpaper photos, start of next month actually. I haven't got Patreon wallpaper sorted, so yeah, I'm gonna take some photos. There's definitely some beautiful environments in this new area, so yeah, I'm gonna have a good time taking some photos. I'm gonna cover the next few locations, and then I'll probably uninstall the game, honestly. Because while it is a good update, it's just a small amount of stuff. I'm basically done with 76, I've played a lot of it. There's not enough there to interest me. Next time I'll probably reinstall it will be when the Ghoul update comes next year, because that seems like a fun, genuine gameplay change, rather than just more of the same with a new questline. So there we go. Hopefully that's enough information and enough opinion and context and spoiler-free-ish stuff to give you an idea of whether or not you want to return to 76. It's very much a middle ground sort of one here, so the decision's up to you. Let me know in the comments your thoughts, give this video a like if you found it helpful, and as always, thank you very much for watching. Sarge out.